What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. And if you're having a fantastic day, do me a favor and go ahead and press the like button. Honestly, it just makes my day a lot better and it helps the video do better in the long run. And as you can tell, today's video is pretty damn long, so I would appreciate you pressing that like button. This is a subscriber story that was sent in a lot of detail. Like, I basically got a novel dropped in the DMs, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. Basically, it's about this guy's friend and the fact that this crazy girl stole his dog in order to try to blackmail him back into like dating her and talking to her. Because nothing says, hey, I'm stable, you should be in a committed relationship with me, quite like, you know, stealing somebody's dog and threatening it in order to try to get them to date you again. Yeah, listen, I might have tried to hurt an innocent animal, but I'd be a great girlfriend. I'll give you back rubs whenever you want. And yeah, it should be a pretty fun video. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Shout out Magnolia Moso.
And my boys, yeah, we whipping in the foreign. Only time we in the bus is when we touring.
I think we've all been in a situation before where like we're talking to somebody or flirting with somebody and we think that they're pretty normal, you know, they seem like they're a pretty normal person and everything seems like you should keep going forward. And the reason that happens is because some people are what we call great actors, okay? Some people will bait you in and be like, oh, I'm the best person ever, I'm so great. And then they get fandangoed and 10 seconds later, bam, they're stealing your dog, you know? And anyways, the story is sent in to me, and he basically says that his friend was talking to this girl, and she seemed great. Like, she got along with everybody in his friend group. She seemed super normal. He seemed really happy, and everybody in the friend group was really hyped for their friend. I'm going to name him Brad, the girl McKenna, and the person who sent in the story is going to be Lewis, okay? Brad is super hyped because, you know, McKenna is just this super awesome girl that gets along with his friends and she's super chill and she plays video games, like literally everything a stereotypical teenage boy could want in a girl, right? And so they all become pretty close over time. And then, you know, they make it official. Like, Brad officially asked McKenna to be his girlfriend. Before this incident, you know, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, we're dating, but we're not dating, you know? We're basically dating, but we're not going to be official. You guys know how it is sometimes. And as soon as Brad makes it official with McKenna, dude, everything switches up in a heartbeat. She goes from being like the super chill girl that got along with his friends and was always vibing to like, let me see your phone right now. Who are you texting? Like, really became the girl from the Jake from State Farm commercial, you know? What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? Khakis. She sounds hideous. Like, bro, you're really getting pressed over him talking to like an insurance agent right now, you know? The jealousy got so bad to the point where one time his mom left him a voicemail and he was listening to it in the other room and she just heard a girl's voice on his phone and she like rips open the door in front of all his friends and is screaming at him about how, you know, he is so like an idiot for having the nerve to cheat in front of him and da-da-da-da-da and all this stuff and how no girl should be able to call him without her permission. And this is one of the rare times that they actually saw them once they started dating, you know? For the most part, everything happened behind closed doors. But like, this is how crazy she was willing to be in front of everybody over the fact that his mom left him a voicemail, all right? Like, literally his mom. And if you're a girl and you've got some jealousy issues, all right, that's understandable, I guess. But like, you really can't get pressed over a dude's mom. That is one woman who's definitely not a threat. And hypothetically, let's say that like you are jealous of your boyfriend's mom. Do you really want to be dating a dude that you have to be jealous of his mom with? Like, if he actually is giving you reasons to be jealous of his mom, that's a big reason to get out of there as fast as possible. But whatever, that's the situation at hand. So for a couple months, Brad just is MIA, you know, McKenna is being all controlling, being an absolute weirdo. But after a couple months of Brad being MIA, being taken away from the boys, being a soldier missing off the front lines, he finally decides he's had enough, all right? And the reason he finally decides to break up with this McKenna girl is very simple. She literally told him at one point that like he had to make a choice between hanging out with his sister who lived out of state and her because he couldn't be hanging out with too many women and she already let him hang out with his cousins enough. Like, this chick was crazy, dude. So he finally is like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna ignore my cousin who flew in from out of state that I don't get to see very often, or his sister, sorry, because you think I hang out with my cousins too much, you know? Like that's bizarre. And I really don't know why this girl was so obsessed with this dude, like, gonna cheat with his family. That's bizarre. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe you were giving off some weird vibes. That's a little bit weird that your girlfriend was that pressed about your sisters and your cousins. Maybe this story took place in Alabama. I'm not too sure, but like, if not, this is such a weird thing to get so defensively jealous about, dude. Like, it's literally his sister. Then again, maybe she's seen Star Wars, because Luke Skywalker did kiss his sister, so maybe she does have a reason to be worried. Maybe we're the ones that don't take it seriously enough, you know? That's what I'm calling it from now on. If your significant other ever cheats on you with someone they're related to, you call it Skywalkering, alright? Because Luke made out with his sister. Never forget that. They try to paint Luke as the best guy in the series, but I mean, Han Solo never made out with his sister. I mean, he made out with Luke's sister, but not like his sister, you know? So he finally decides to break it off, and he goes back to the boys, and obviously they're getting all the stories about the craziness of the relationship after the fact, because that's what happens, man. As soon as, you know, there's a breakup with somebody that was in the friend group and they kind of come back full swing, you get all the tea, and it's honestly one of the most fun parts. I just love hearing crazy stories, you know? It's kind of the reason I made the Storytime channel, is I love hearing stories. So whenever, like, a relationship ends and there's drama, you know it's kind of spicy. And so he's telling everybody about how crazy she is and how, you know, she is jealous of his mom and his sisters and his cousins and, like, wouldn't let him do anything and was always looking through his phone, and he wasn't allowed to be friends with any girls, and he wasn't allowed to, you know, text anyone without her reading it. Like, she was just crazy. And all the boys are like, you know what? Well, you got out of it now. You've escaped the craziness that was the McKenna relationship. Now we can go back to just hanging out and being the boys. And for a little bit, everything was peaceful, you know? For like the first 2 weeks of the breakup, they started hanging out again. The squad goes reunited. They were getting W's in Fortnite, just going back to peace as the boys do. But then it happened, all right? It always happens in the relationship, especially in the breakup, dude. The person who breaks up with somebody, you know, one of you always realizes that, like, the relationship you had was good and you want it back. You know, one of you is usually kind of at fault in a breakup, and she realizes that she was kind of nuts. And the only problem is she's nuts. Most people, if they mess up in a relationship, they'll be like, man, here were my flaws and I'll fix them. She just starts sending, like, very threatening text messages and phone calls to him, you know, basically saying that, yeah, she saw him, like, talking to another girl, and she's gonna let every girl know that he's off limits, and if anybody dares to step to her man, she's gonna fight him, and, like, she knows where he lives, and if his stupid sister keeps, you know, commenting on his Instagram posts, there's gonna be problems, because she will fight her, and, like, tell your cousins to keep my name out of her mouth, just getting very, very threatening, very fast, threatening to fight his family, all that stuff. And so, like, he obviously doesn't really know what to do, because when somebody's just nuts, there's no arguing with them. Like, even if you logically sit someone down and say, you are being ridiculous, if they're crazy, they just don't get it. So after getting, like, all these texts and phone calls saying that she's gonna pull up to his house and fight his family and all this stuff, he does what he thinks is the right thing, and he blocks her number. He's like, look, you know, I've tried to be nice, I've tried to solve this, you clearly just won't leave me alone, you're going absolutely bonkers and just blowing me up all the time trying to fight my mom at my house. So I'm gonna block your number. So he blocks her number, and her response to getting her number blocked isn't to, you know, reevaluate once again and realize she's being a little bit crazy. No, this girl decides that the best thing to do when her ex-boyfriend blocks her number for being psycho and threatening him too much is to show up to his house and try to fight his mom. Like, you literally can't make this up, dude. How did she act normal for so long is my question. Like, this isn't even normal crazy. Everybody thinks their ex is a little bit crazy. This is straight up, you know, Criminal Minds. Like, you're lucky you didn't end up going missing in 25 minutes after she pulled up to the house and tried to fight your mom type stuff. Like, where are you guys finding these girls where they're literally out here trying to fight your mom after you block their number? Because I need to stay far away from wherever it's located. I've got a magnet thing for crazy too. The last thing I need is to find where you guys found this chick. And basically what happens is he's chilling playing Call of Duty with the boys, and his dad says, Brad, get down here. And so they don't really hear a whole bunch after that, but they hear like bits and pieces of screaming over the microphone when they were playing games together. And like 2 hours later, he comes back up and he's like, oh my God, I gotta tell you guys what happened. And he explains that his mom had looked out the peephole and obviously saw his ex-girlfriend and thought, she was coming to apologize or drop off hoodies, and had opened the door. And as soon as she had opened it, his ex-girlfriend had like pounced on his mom and said that she had convinced her son to leave him, and like it was all her fault that she was gonna die alone. Like just lost it on the mom. And like was like, we have to fight now, and so he had to go downstairs, and his dad and him had to like pull his ex-girlfriend off of his mom. Just like that is not something you ever expect to see. I've dated women and I've never been like, I wonder what they would look like fighting my mother. Like, not a good strategy. And once again, dude, how nuts do you have to be to think that this is how you get someone back? Like, oh man, he broke up with me because I was being too controlling and possessive. Better go fight his mom, the person that gave birth to him, the person that he lives with. Like, let's say he doesn't even like his mom that much. How are you gonna date somebody and like if they live with somebody that you fought? Really, going over to a girl's house and you fought her dad? Like, that's not gonna last very long. I can promise you that. But whatever, I guess when you're really an unhinged crazy person in your head, finding somebody's mom is gonna make them realize they love you. Like, oh my gosh, now that you have punched my mom repeatedly in the face, I realize that my love for you is undying, and I simply cannot live without you. From now on, we must be inseparable, for if we are not, I really do not know what purpose my life will have. Ha! Like, that's just some anime stuff. That isn't gonna happen, all right? Like, this is not an anime, okay? Walking up to their dad and being like, wow, in order to fight your daughter, I will outpower you in combat. That's not a good move. If you're dating somebody, you want their parents to like you. But whatever, the girl had fought his mom or tried to fight his mom. And then when they were like, they were gonna call the cops, she had run off and for the last 2 hours had been like coming back and forth from the house. And finally, when she had come up, the cops were there and they were basically like, you're trespassing, you can't come here anymore. So in the span of a week, it went from like a normal breakup to she is threatening him and trying to fight his mom, which is just how it goes. Honestly, the craziest part about this story is it makes all my stories about crazy girls that I've dated sound completely normal. Like, the story time about the girl who literally put a curse on me for breaking up with her. Yeah, that doesn't seem too weird now, considering this dude had Ronda Rousey at his house trying to throw hands with his mom. And as you can tell, there's more videos, so it actually gets crazier. At this point, the mom contacts the school and is like, look, we gotta have a meeting and figure this out. I don't want her in classes with my son. They basically are like, we don't want to put a restraining order on her because she's a kid. Regardless, they are teenagers. They didn't want to, get her a record or anything, which is very nice, dude. This guy's family is way more patient than mine. If anybody ever pulls up to my house, I'm being honest. If any of you pull up to my house and try to fight me, I will get a restraining order. Like, I'm not this dude's mom, okay? You pull up to my house and try to fight me, like, that's a GG. This family is way nicer than they should have been. And maybe that's why she continued to go crazy. Like, some crazy people, you can't be nice to them. And I feel like when somebody pulls up and tries to fight you because your son broke up with them, that's when it's time to just drop the restraining order and hit the GG. So whatever, the family decides to be very polite and not get a restraining order, but she gets moved out of every class that they had together. They basically try to structure them to be on opposite sides of the school as much as humanly possible. They have this very awkward meeting where like the girl once again acts normal because she's a crazy person. So the dean, everybody's parents, everybody is like, all right, I guess this is solved now. And here's the craziest part. During this meeting where like the parents all met and the school met to talk about the fact that obviously this was a little bit bizarre and they had to have a solution for it, right? The girl had like looked the mom in the eyes and apologized and said that she knew she was out of line and it was disrespectful and she didn't know what came over her. She's just been dealing with all these emotions, and like really gave a very deep, detailed apology. So everybody believes it, right? This girl low-key has everybody thinking that there is no problem. She's a normal person who can go back to being in society. And for the next week or so after this incident where she apologized apologizes and acts normal. Everything's good. He doesn't see her at school a lot because they're on opposite sides of the class. They don't have anything together. And Brad's life is finally starting to go back to normal. Obviously, he thinks it's like kind of a funny story at this point, dude, because at the time, like when somebody's fighting your mom, it's not funny. But if the problem is solved and everything's good, then, no harm, no foul at all, right? And after about a week of this incident being solved, Brad kind of starts talking to a new girl. And her name isn't important in the story, but we'll basically say, we'll give her a name of press the like button. So press the like button and Brad start dating, or not dating, but talking, flirting. And it becomes relatively obvious around school that they've kind of got a little bit of a thing going on. They're holding hands in the hallway. She's wearing his jersey. You know how it is. Brad's a pimp, bro. He's doing what he's got to do to make his lady happy. That's the lifestyle. So obviously, word gets out pretty quick that Brad has moved on from McKenna. And McKenna, which has been acting relatively normal for the week, as you can probably guess, does not take the news of Brad really moving on and like having a new girl around school very well whatsoever. Like literally at all. And that is when things get to a level of crazy that you only see in like Netflix shows. One weekend, Brad's parents go out of town, which happens to be the weekend that his new girlfriend pressed the like button, or not his girlfriend yet, but press the like button and him start being a thing. And so he doesn't know that McKenna's really lost her mind yet. She doesn't make it obvious at school. So that weekend, he has pressed the like button over. And obviously, when your parents are out of town and you have a girl over, they weren't very focused on other things going on in the house. You know what I'm saying? And so he's spending some time with this new girl, and she ends up going home at like 11 p.m. because they're still in high school. So, they weren't having sleepovers. So she had to go home, and he's kind of like, awesome. So he goes to bed, and at around like midnight, maybe an hour after his girl had left, he wakes up and he's like, I better let the dog out. And he starts walking around the house, and he's like, that's weird. The dog isn't here. And normally the dog gets out and gets to go to the bathroom before it goes to bed. But because the girl was over, he had just forgotten. So he's looking around for where the dog is sleeping just to make sure it's okay. And he's looking around the house and he's like, wow, that's so weird. So he starts calling his name and clapping and getting out treats. And he's like, oh my God, where is the dog? So maybe I left him outside. So he goes in the backyard and he starts looking around. And sure enough, the dog is nowhere to be found, dude. And almost like clockwork. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for 17 minutes straight, guys. Give me a break. Almost like clockwork. As soon as he's like, oh my God, the dog is gone, his phone starts ringing, and it's from a number that he doesn't recognize, all right? So he picks up the phone, and he puts it to his ear, and it's McKenna's voice, and she's like, I have your dog. Like, oh my God, dude, that I would crap my pants on the spot. Listen, just even thinking about how creepy that must have been genuinely makes me want to just, run and hide under my blanket like a small little kid. Like, that is terrifying, dude. Imagine you just realized that your dog is gone, and then you hear like your psycho ex on the phone being like, have the dog. Yeah, nope. No, thank you. If I wanted to be this scared, I would go play Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not trying to have that happen in real life, so I'm never letting anyone meet my dog. So he answers back. He's like, all right, where are you? Like, what's going on? What's the deal? And she says, the only way that you're ever going to see your dog again is if you agree to take me back. And he's like, you literally just kidnapped my dog and you want me to take you back. And she's like, I've had to take desperate measures. I'm not proud of what I've had to do, but you won't listen to me and why we should be together. And he's like, where are you? And she's like, I can see you right now. Keep in mind, he's in his backyard looking for the dog, which just adds to the overall serial killer vibe. Like, you're just watching me in my backyard frantically looking around on the phone. Tell me that is not just something straight out of a movie like Liam Neeson and Taken. Where are you and where's my daughter? I like your shirt, Mr. Neeson. Like, So, he starts looking around and he sees like this car kind of parked there. So he starts walking towards the car, and sure enough, the car turns on and drives away. And he's like, where are you? Like, where are you taking my dog? This isn't funny. Like, McKenna, like, do you realize how nuts this is? Like, you literally took my dog. Like, you've kidnapped my dog. And she's like, look, you have to hear me out. If you don't take me back, like, I just won't give you the dog back. And he's like, I will call the police. Like, you've taken my dog. And she is, As soon as he mentions the police, she starts like crying. She's like, no, don't call the police. Don't call the police. No. We don't have to get that involved. Like, just give me a chance to explain. Like, just hear me out. I promise that, like, I can explain. He's like, you have 5 minutes to explain what's going on. And if my dog is not back here at the end of those 5 minutes, then I'm calling the police. Like, that's it. That's game. You have 5 minutes to explain what's up. Which, once again, way nicer than me. If you kidnap my dog, like break into my house while I have somebody over and take my dog, yeah, no. There is no explaining. There's no hearing you out. There's nothing. That's GG. It's over for you. And she starts explaining, I kid you not, trying to say that she's been going to therapy a lot and she's worked through a lot of her problems and she really thinks she can be a more stable girlfriend. Not understanding the irony of saying all that while, literally being in the act of kidnapping his dog after breaking into his house while another girl was over, taking it, and then calling him on a new phone number, who knows how she got that, to say that she's less crazy. Yeah, definitely, for sure. The proof is in the pudding on this one. You've gotten your stuff together. Like, I feel like this is what happens when people just take Dr. Phil advice without actually going on the show, dude. Like, she watched an episode of Bad Baby and, saw Dr. Phil be like, sometimes you have to take charge of your life and make decisions. And she was like, yeah, you're right, Dr. Phil. I should steal his dog. Like, just completely misunderstanding what should have been good advice. That's the only explanation for somebody to say something this stupid about how they're becoming a better person while also kidnapping a dog. Either that or you're just nuts. But I like to think that maybe somehow, like, she can't be this stupid, because nobody should be this stupid, right? Like if you're this stupid, you should be having trouble breathing, You might have to think about taking breaths in and out if you are dumb enough to not understand this. So she goes on for 5 minutes explaining how, she's not crazy and she's getting it together. And he's like, all right, are you in the driveway? And she's like, yes, do you want to see me? He's like, yeah, let me bring the dog inside. And so, he comes out, he takes the dog inside, and he locks the door, and he calls her back, and he's like, never come back to my house again, and if you do, I'm calling the cops, and we're pressing charges for you kidnapping the dog. And she's like, oh my God, you lied to me, like, this is too far, even with everything I've done, you can never say that I've lied to you. And it's like, bruh, really? Like, lying is bad, but lying has nothing on everything that you've done in the slightest. This is the only, like, people like this blow my mind. If you're somebody who does everything to be an idiot and then tries to be like, poor me, somebody finally did something about it. Like, yeah, he lied to you. You had his dog that you kidnapped. Of course he lied to get his dog back. That's what any normal human being would have done in that situation. In fact, if he wouldn't have lied to you, I would have been pissed. So, he's like, yeah, I lied, whatever, never come back here, I'm done. And she starts screaming at him in the phone about how she doesn't even like him anymore because he's a liar. Like, the fact that he just lied to her face just shows that he doesn't deserve a girl that's as loyal and good as her, because yeah, man, the loyalty and goodness is definitely trying to fight my mom and steal my dog. But, yeah, he was like, all right, and hung up the phone. And so, everything he thought was going to be okay. He had gotten the dog back, but, like, obviously, craziness at that point is out of control. She had literally tried to break into his house and steal the dog. For whatever reason, I will not understand, he doesn't call the police. He literally is just like, well, if she never comes back here, it's fine. Flabbergasted at the night. You can't even say it's niceness at this point, dude. If you're not calling the cops when somebody breaks into your house and steals your dog, like, that's not being a good person and, not wanting anything on her permanent record. That's called, dude, she broke into your house. Please press charges. Otherwise, you're just enabling her. Like, that's just enabling. But he doesn't call the cops, and he's like, whatever, it's going to be okay. He gets to school. By the time, the weekend has ended, everything is still fine with the press the like button girl, there's nothing weird there. He doesn't really mention it about it. But when he walks into school, everybody is like treating him weird, dude, and people are giving him dirty looks. So finally he asks somebody like, yo, what's up? What's the deal? And he's like, dude, you know that what you did to McKenna was super messed up, man. And so he starts asking what he did, and come to find out, she had basically gone around and told everyone that they hadn't broken up, and she, or they had gotten back together. Like, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, that they weren't, like, they were a thing again. You know what I mean? You guys get what I mean. Like, they had broken up, but they were still, like, not allowed to date other people. And she had gone over to his house to surprise him with his favorite food and had walked in on him and the press the like button girl. And so she had told everybody this. So everybody at school is like, oh my God, dude, like, you had just broken up with her and, you know, she walked in on you and another girl. Like, what a jerk. Like, all the girls are pissed at him, dude. She had gone around trying to ruin his reputation because they had broken up. He had moved on, and then she had come to break into his house and steal his dog. So he starts telling everybody what actually happened and, like, has the proof, you know. He has the phone call. He has all this stuff. And so the girl, McKenna, is finally getting exposed for just, like, being a crazy person. But a couple of the people at the school are like, nah, dude, like, I don't believe you. This stuff, that the evidence that you have just, like, isn't real. Like, so what that she called you late at night, you know? It doesn't matter. Like, she probably stole your dog because she was mad at you about the other girl. Keep in mind, he was single because she had tried to fight his mother. Like, it wasn't like they had just broken up over some normal breakup stuff. Like, oh, I just didn't like the way she told me I couldn't play Xbox. Like, no. They had broken up because, like, she had tried to fight his mom. Well, I mean, I guess technically, you know, they had broken up because she was jealous of his cousins and his sister, but she did try to fight his mom. Like, that was a thing. I feel like you're allowed to move on. It's not moving on too quick if you're like, yeah, I'm replacing the person who literally tried to throw hands with my mother. Like, that's a pretty normal decision. I would support you on that. In fact, I'm gonna call that self-care. That's not being a jerk. That's called caring about yourself if you do that, you know? But for whatever reason, some people are pressed at him. So this poor guy, dude, he's had his dog kidnapped. He's had this girl try to fight his mom. And now some people at his school think that he's permanently a jerk, all because of this crazy person. And, you know, I don't want to see any comments on this video like, oh, all women are crazy. Like, that's not what this is about, dude. Trust me. Most 99.999% of women are never going to steal your dog and then slander your reputation and try to fight your mom. I can promise you that, all right? You know, that's not simping. This story is about just an unhinged crazy person. That's what I want you guys to take away from this is definitely do your due diligence before dating anybody, because you never know when somebody's going to be a psychopath who might want to steal your dog, you know? That's just some generally good advice. As for what life is like for this dude now, I've you know, gotten this massive paragraph, like 30 minutes worth of story here. Everything is relatively fine now. Some people at school still just don't like him, but, you know, that's life. Some people are just not gonna like you. You can't have everybody liking you. And the girl, surprisingly, just, like, has left him alone, you know? She tells everybody that he's a liar, and that's why she ended things with him. Which means that was really the final straw for her. Him lying to get the dog that she kidnapped back in the house is what finally made her be like, man, I don't really know if this is for me. Which, I don't know, is that stupid, or do you just consider that a win at this point because anything that gets rid of her being obsessed with you is just an automatic W? But yeah, I guess no harm, no foul. At the end of the day, you got a crazy story out of it, and, like, my God, dude, kudos to you for surviving all that. Like, man, that does not sound like a fun time. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you pressing the like button. Obviously, this is a long video, so it would mean a lot if you press the like button. It does help the video do better. More views, you know, makes me smile. If you don't want to, I guess that's all right. If you're new, oh my gosh, I like burped halfway through that word, then be sure to subscribe. I upload story times like this from people or myself every single day. It's pretty fun, you know, we vibe. And it's a good time. And if you are going to subscribe, you might as well turn on notifications because YouTube just sucks. And if you don't turn them on, then, you know, yeah, I can't promise you'll ever see my videos. But yeah, other than that, if you just like me, you can follow me on my social media. My Twitter is @Scrubby_69, and my Instagram is just @Scrubby because, you know, we keep it clean and OG around here. The intro song from about 30 minutes ago will be linked down below in the description as well if you liked it. And if you want to be a real savage, you should pick up some of the merch. The OG Sub Club merch is going to be going away when the main channel ends up hitting 2 million, so that's coming up relatively soon. And I mean, just look at it. Tell me you would not get every single girl in this hoodie. And I can promise you 100%, if you wear this hoodie, any girl that would ever kidnap your dog is going to be too scared to approach you and date you. So it's definitely definitely worth something to look into. And yeah, other than that, if you like G Fuel, be sure to use code Scrubby at the checkout for a little bit of a discount. On that note, guys, I'm probably going to go just play some more Call of Duty and try to really think about how I should make sure that girls aren't going to kidnap my dog in the future. If you've made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment the word potato down below just to prove that you are committed to the squad. And yeah, on that note, my last piece of advice for this entire video is going to be pretty dang simple, and it's going to be, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and a little thing extra, make sure that they're not willing to kidnap a dog and fight your mom to try to get back with you. The person you marry and have a kid with definitely should love you, but not that much. And yeah, on that note, guys, have yourselves an absolutely amazing day. I'm going to ramble for a little bit because this gameplay is nasty. And I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.